Good morning. So it's been a super long time since I have done a video, and I just want to do a quick-ish one. I kind of had to put the camera down for a little while because I was getting super frustrating on the editing side of the videos. There's a lot of word searching and things like that, and just kind of watching yourself trying to heal from cancer treatments, and thinking you're doing better than you are, and then watching yourself on video is frustrating. So I had to just put it down and tend to what I could control. So there's a lot of the spring and summer stuff that I was planning on filming and just didn't do it. I don't get paid to do this, so it's not like I have to do it. Even if I got paid, it's not like I would have to do it anyways. So I just stopped and barely posted anything on Instagram. Everything was really frustrating. There's a lot of post-cancer treatment things mentally that you have to learn to deal with that a lot of people don't really talk about. But I'm kind of renewed after that to get in here and show you what you can do on a small scale, in terms of being kind of self-sufficient, or at least partially sufficient. I don't think it's good for us to ever be completely self-sufficient. There's burnout and all of that stuff, but I think you need your community, and your community needs you. Where I may not have something that a larger farmer would have, I have skills. I have the ability to work hard and can trade that for meat or produce or whatever we need to do. And I'm fine with that. So I feel like we all kind of need to, those of us that dream of larger spaces for more self-sufficiency, can do things in our own backyard, because buying land is not always something that everybody can do. And I think sometimes we get stuck dreaming and we never actually do. I've always looked at my backyard as my learning time, my schooling. I learn what I can and can't do, what works, what doesn't work, which would obviously change if we had a bigger piece of land. Moving right now is not something that we can do, and that's okay. It might not be something that we can ever do. I don't know. I hope that we can move to a bigger piece of land one day. But I do want those of you, what I want is those of you who can't but are dreaming of, show you that it is possible to grow and raise a fair portion of your food. We went on vacation not too long ago, and other than just buying a few things here and there that I can't grow, I haven't had to buy groceries because we have freezers full of meat and we have a garden that's producing vegetables. So that's kind of cool to not have to do that. And I want to show you that it's possible. So I'm going to put out several videos. I've already filmed one that is a garden tour, and so you can see what I'm growing. It's a very realistic garden tour because I did not clean up my garden to video it. I'll do a more in-depth thing on each thing that I grew this last year and what I'll do differently, if anything, or if I'll even grow it again because it may not be worth it for me. And then we're going to do a video of all the animals, and obviously we have a rooster. We have a young rooster, and I can't decide if I want to keep him and get rid of our old rooster. So they're currently competing, and that's why you hear so many crows. But anyways, I want to do a video on all the animals that we have and why we have them and what they do for us. Keep in mind, because we are in a small space, everything is dual purpose. If it doesn't have more than one function, and that includes the animals, then I can't put it in my yard. I need everything to have more than one function. And then And then the next video I want to do after you see everything that I have in my yard, how it all works together. I don't just have things in my yard just to have things in my yard. It all works together to produce soil, essentially. It's kind of, if you look at permaculture, I do permaculture in my own way, I guess. I don't know all the details to it, but I was doing it before I knew what it was called. Only because I didn't know. It was just one of those things where I looked and tried to see what farmers did a long time ago, before there were a lot of monocrops and things like that, and they practiced permaculture before they even knew what it was called. Everything works together for the whole of the backyard and for the whole of us humans. And so I want to do a video on that. And then from there, I'm going to move into videos on preserving food, because that's a big thing for us. Fall gardening, because that's my favorite time to garden. And then I want to do videos on how we get things that we can't raise or grow ourselves, and just to give you ideas to kind of think outside of the box. So that's kind of all going to be like a series of videos that I want to do, but in the meantime, I'm also going to, as we're doing things and I have more energy to do certain things, which will be mostly in the fall when things die down, because this takes up a lot of time and effort and energy on my part, and there's a way that I can harness this and harvest this and then wait until fall to preserve, so I'm not trying to do everything all at one time. So but anyway, so that's kind of where I'm heading, and I'm just going to get disciplined in trying to make sure that we shoot these videos so that we can put out that information for you. And then a quick little health update. I've finished all of my cancer treatments, well, the majority of them, in February. So that was, I did, well, let's back up for those that don't know. May of 2020, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I have no family history. I don't have the risk factors. I do not have a gene mutation, and I am under 40 for a little bit longer. And so there's that. So don't think that just because you have any of the same things that you can't get breast cancer. We've ultimately decided that it was from some sort of, I don't know, external, what do you call that? See, here we go again. Here's the brain thing. Word searching. I say this word all the time and I don't even know it. Anyways, that's a lingering effect. They call it chemo brain. I also think it's from the medication that I'm on to keep cancer away. But anyways, I did 14 rounds of chemo, 16 rounds of chemo, 4 rounds of one they call the Red Devil, which is the harshest chemo drug on the market. There's a reason they call it the Red Devil. I literally felt like I was going through hell, and I felt like I was dying every single time I took it. It sucked. And they combined that one with another one called Cytoxin. So I did 4 rounds of those. And then I did 12 weekly rounds of a drug called Taxol. And that was supposed to be easier on my body. Let's just say it was, but the mental aspect of that drug was really, really rough. And then you're on steroids during all of that, so the steroid treatment's super fun. And then I had surgery to remove my left breast, and they removed about 15 lymph nodes. The hope was for chemo to kill all of the cancer in my breast, and it did not. But that's okay because surgery removed everything else. You see that dog back there? They eat my tomatoes and my cucumbers. Anyways, so I was declared, well, they said that they removed, with clear margins, that's the term that they use. I had clear margins, meaning they got the cancer that they could see. And then I had 33 rounds of radiation. So that was, yeah. So that was what I had. Pathology came back, and it showed that there was the cancer that was in my breast tissue, because I had cancer in a lump, and I had cancer throughout my breast tissue, and I had cancer in 3 lymph nodes. When they went in and removed that, pathology showed that the breast tissue was clear, so yay. But I still had cancer in my lump, and then I had cancer in 1 lymph node. So I have half of my lymph nodes here, and then so I'm at risk of lymphedema. So far, I haven't had any issues with that. I went to therapy for that afterwards, and then so that has helped a lot. I chose not to do reconstruction for health reasons. I tried to keep as many chemicals out of my body as possible, and yes, I know I just put a whole bunch of poisons in my body. I'm fully aware of that. My cancer was very aggressive. I had no time to do anything naturally, because I'd probably be dead at this point. Or close to dying at this point. So risk versus reward was weighed out there. Then with breast cancer, they don't classify you in remission until you are 5 years cancer free, because of such high reoccurrence rate. Because of my health, the way that I eat, and things like that, they are not anticipating cancer returning. But I shouldn't have had cancer in the first place. So there's that. By all studies and everything like that, I shouldn't have had it in the first place, but I had it. So living with that weight causes a little bit of a mental mountain that you have to climb and live with on a daily basis, and sometimes just moment by moment breathing. So long-term side effects I knew I would have from chemo, and things that I've got going on. I still can't feel my toes. The Taxol drug can cause neuropathy. I got it in my hands and in my feet, and in my legs, which was weird, but I was still able to use my legs. Some people can't use their legs because of the effects of the drug, and that's not fun. But I can't feel my toes, and at this point in time, it's likely lifelong. So I just suck that one up and deal with it. My toenails were trying to come off. I'm still holding on to my 2 big toes. They're still half off. Your toenails grow slower than your fingernails do. I still have, my fingernails are still growing out from lifting up off of my nail beds. I was able to keep all of my fingernails, but they're still growing out. I mean, you can kind of see if you can see that a little bit. My other hand looks very similar. And so they're still growing out, but they're strong. So I can use them just fine. I have, my hair is obviously growing in, and it's curly. They call them chemo curls. If they stay, we'll see. I don't know if they'll stay. I did not have curly hair beforehand, but I had thick hair, and I had a lot more grays. So, whatever. It's hair. I'm going to be glad for it. Let's see, other long-term side effects that I have had. I've lost some of my hearing, and that's weird. So when there's like white noise in the background, like if the water's running, I can't hear what other people are saying. If the AC is on too loud, like in the car or whatever, I can't hear what other people are saying. So that's something unique that I've had to learn to navigate. I found out recently that I have cataracts in my right eye, and they're not bad, but they'll have to be dealt with at some point in time. So it's fixable, surgery, you know. The eye doctor was like, yeah, everybody gets them when they're 70. And I'm like, well, I mean, you know. But she said it is something that they see after cancer treatments for patients, younger patients, that tends to happen. And then I have damage to so you have glands in your eyelids. When you blink, they wet your eyes. I have damage to this eye. So, you know, it is what it is. I still have my Port Tricia, and she is still in, and I don't want her in anymore, but the month of September is super chaotic for us, so I'm going to wait until after then and have her taken out. My doctor did say after my last visit that he does not anticipate us ever needing to use it again. And honestly, even if I do have to use it again sooner than later, I want a break from having a port in my body because it kind of hurts, and I think that it's kind of causing some anxiety issues. So, and that's another thing that's long term is anxiety issues. I am on medication that can cause anxiety issues, and for the most part I can handle all of that on my own. I have a lot of coping mechanisms for my anxiety, and when I can tell that I'm about to reach a state of panic, and that's usually me stepping back from everything, and a lot of times pulling weeds helps. It just does. So I have ways to manage my anxiety. I prefer not to be on medication if at all possible. And it's okay if you have to take medication for the anxiety. It's better to live peacefully than to be stressed and anxious all the time, because what I've learned is that stress does a number on your health. So learn to manage your stress, especially in the time period that we're in right now. But anyways, I just wanted to do a quick update, and this is not a quick update because I can see the timer on here, and so stick around. I'm sure I'll drop bits and pieces of whatnot going forward on my health, because people tend to really like to know that, and I appreciate everybody being curious. I'm an open book on it. I'll tell you anything. I'll tell you the gross stuff, obviously, and I'll tell you why I chose not to do reconstruction and how I feel about living with one boob, because that's how I live. Like, I really don't care. Like, I will talk to you about it. So if you have questions, ask away. I will answer, and if I feel like it has crossed the line, then I'll kind of ignore you, probably. No, I won't ignore you. I'll be like, I'll just tell you I'm not comfortable answering that. But for the most part, I'm comfortable answering any question out there. So feel free to ask when it comes to cancer treatments, particularly breast cancer. So that there's that. And then also ask gardening questions. I have enough experience to where I know a fair amount of things, but I also have enough experience to know that I don't know much of anything. So I'll answer what I can and tell you what I do, but keep in mind that the way I do it is probably different than other people. I don't think that there's one right way to do everything. So this channel is mostly going to be the way that we do it here at our house, and what has worked for us and what hasn't worked for us. So thank you all for watching this long, because I think it's going to be over 20 minutes. And I am trying to keep them under 20 minutes, but I don't think it's going to happen. So the goal is to put out one video a week. because they are going to be a little bit longer than I would like. So we're just going to do one video a week for right now, because I feel like that's sustainable for us. What days we'll put them out, I don't know yet. But thank you all again. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you soon.